Yesterday, President Trump finally released what everyone has been asking him to release.
Nice.
George Santos, the former Republican congressman who had pled guilty to fraud and something called aggravated identity theft, which I think is when you push someone into a closet and switch clothes with them.
Zelensky has said that if President Trump provides Ukraine with Tomahawk missiles, he will nominate Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. You know, the prize they give you for selling missiles.
I think it's a joke. I looked at the people. They're not representative of this country. And I looked at all the brand new signs paid for, I guess it was paid for by Soros and other radical left lunatics.
Trump threatening to cancel Saturday Night Live hosts is peak comedy on its own. The man got roasted so badly, he tried to shut down the kitchen. Apparently a few punchlines bruised his ego more than election night ever did. But just wait until you hear what's got him fuming this time. Let's just say the sketch spiraled into a full-blown tantrum faster than you can say, "Somebody hide the remote," before he starts tweeting again.
Trump is upset that he didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize, but the last guy to send heavily armed men into an American city was Bane from Batman. Bane, who was also snubbed for the Peace Prize. And Trump deserves credit, I have to say, for brokering this ceasefire in Gaza, but I'm slightly skeptical since Biden also negotiated a ceasefire in Gaza 9 months ago. Remember that? No? Well, neither does
Trump threatening to cancel Saturday Night Live is the most poetic kind of irony since the guy who created Twitter started whining about free speech. Imagine being so allergic to jokes that your first reaction is to treat a comedy sketch show like a national security crisis. This is the same man who once ran the country like a stand-up routine gone off the rails, and now he's surprised the comedians are making fun of him?
President Trump with brokering the Israel-Hamas ceasefire, but it makes perfect sense to me because sometimes crazy people only listen to other crazy people. Like when you see a guy jacketing on the subway, you don't just ask him to stop. No, you got to take off your pants too, and now we can negotiate.
Loving the video? Then let's make it official. Hit that subscribe button and stick around for more great content, because the best is still to come. Now, back to the video. The week kicked off with the government doing what it does best. Absolutely nothing. A full shutdown. For once, America took a deep breath and realized that silence can actually be bliss. No tweets, no press briefings, no surprise tariffs dropping like plot twists. For one glorious moment, it almost felt like peace on Earth. But then, like a bad sequel, Trump came storming back, furious that SNL had dared to mock him again. Apparently, satire is only funny until it's aimed at you.
Donald Trump called Kamala Harris, quote, a mentally disabled person. I cannot believe that Trump admitted he lost the debate to a mentally disabled person. You can really tell that Trump is worried about this election because now he's just lashing out, hoping anything will work. Look.
I could have been sunbathing on the beach. You have never seen a body so beautiful. Much better than Sleepy Joe.
Colin Jost and Michael Che didn't just roast him, they slow-cooked him over a bipartisan flame. Every sketch turned the White House into their comedy Candace. They joked that Trump's economic plans were so unpredictable, you'd need a seatbelt to survive them. And before you know it, he's practically drafting executive orders against punchlines.
The U.S. Treasury is planning to release a silver dollar with President Trump's face on it, and then on the other side, he has Harriet Tubman in a headlock. President Trump criticized Time magazine for using a bad picture of him on the cover, saying, quote, they disappeared my hair. And I gotta agree, that thing do look waxed.
You know it's bad when your presidency comes with a highlight reel narrated by comedians? Half the footage looks like bloopers from a reality show nobody asked for. The shutdown, the tariffs, the grandstanding, it was all there. 1 week, he's slapping tariffs on Mexico and Canada. 2 days later, he's lifting them again. Experts called it instability. SNL called it performance art. And honestly, they were being kind. The man treated global trade like his Twitter drafts, half-baked, regrettable, and deleted 48 hours later. Then came the Middle East trip, which looked less like diplomacy and more like a royal wedding sponsored by fast food. Trump landed in Saudi Arabia to a lavender carpet that perfectly matched his tie, his spray tan, and possibly his ego. They even rolled out a McDonald's truck in his honor, complete with a burger called the McJournalist. It was part diplomatic visit, part product launch. SNL couldn't resist. Every appearance felt staged, every line rehearsed, and every blunder repackaged as historic brilliance. SNL turned that into comedy gold. Colin Jost compared his administration to a reality show that never ends. White House so chaotic that even Netflix would ask for a rewrite. Trump called it fake news, but when your cabinet meetings look like reunion specials, you've kind of proved their point. Meanwhile, Michael Che tore into Trump's foreign diplomacy like a roast battle, saying foreign leaders didn't cry when they met him, they cried because they had to.
During a campaign stop at a Pennsylvania supermarket, Donald Trump gave a woman buying groceries $100 because at this point, his knee-jerk reaction to seeing a woman is to pay her off.
President Trump has reportedly become concerned with Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene criticizing Republicans on key issues, with Trump asking, "What's going on with Marjorie?" Little advice, bro. Just let her go. You can't change her.
Every handshake looked like a hostage negotiation. Every summit felt like a bad improv show where nobody knew the script. This wasn't diplomacy, it was global theater. Michael Che imagined the G7 as an open mic night where the president keeps grabbing the mic to announce he's the best at being humble. But nothing hit harder than the chaos at home. Colin Jost tore into Trump's economic boasts, painting him as a president who takes credit for everything good, blames the moon for everything bad, and still wonders why inflation polls better than he does. It was like watching someone smash their own window just to sell themselves the repair. Jost joked that America was being run like one of Trump's businesses. Big promises, flashy openings, disastrous endings, and somehow bankruptcies still counted as success. By that point, Trump's team must have been printing cease and desist letters like campaign flyers. The angrier he got, the funnier SNL became. He didn't see the sketches as humor, but as betrayal, because for him, image was everything. Jost joked that Trump treated his presidency like a brand deal, public office as product placement. And honestly, he wasn't wrong. Every executive order felt like a commercial. Every rally looked like a product launch, complete with cheering fans and limited facts. Then came the legal drama. Che roasted Trump's courtroom chaos like it was Emmy bait. Trials, indictments, subpoenas, less about justice and more about ratings. Trump strutted into legal trouble like it was a red carpet premiere. Jost joked that even the judges were probably wondering if they'd end up on SNL that week. It wasn't justice, it was improv. He wasn't campaigning anymore, he was headlining. But what really sent him over the edge was when SNL called his communication style performance journalism. Every tweet, every press conference, every grand announcement felt like a trailer for a movie that never came out. Jost dubbed it governing by vibes. Policy didn't matter, attention did. And for a man addicted to headlines, that was both the mission and the reward. SNL turned Trump's national emergencies into comedy gold. Hurricanes, wildfires, pandemics, each one handled like an improv exercise. Declare something dramatic, forget about it a week later, then pat yourself on the back for saving the day. It was crisis management by mood swing, and somehow it kept the audience hooked. When the lawsuits piled up, SNL didn't hold back. They portrayed Trump's legal troubles as the world's longest-running courtroom drama, starring him as both defendant and narrator. Jost compared it to a soap opera, where the plot never moves forward, but the hair gets shinier every season. Even FBI raids turned into publicity events. Every subpoena became just another headline opportunity. Then came the cultural satire, and that's when SNL flipped the script. They stopped treating it as politics and started treating it as performance art. The result? Trump imploded. He accused the show of attacking democracy, as if democracy weren't already bleeding from overexposure. He called them biased. But when your administration serves up this much material, bias isn't required. Just observation.
Hamas have tentatively agreed to President Trump's plan to end the war in Gaza, and you could tell Trump wrote the plan himself.
SNL didn't need to exaggerate Trump,
They just had to describe him with a straight face. Colin Jost mocked the new executive orders as little vanity projects with legal signatures, comparing them to those limited edition sneakers that never actually arrive. Each law was announced like a plot twist, then forgotten like an intern's name. And every time SNL replayed the footage, Trump's outrage grew. He didn't mind being wrong, he minded being laughed at. Michael Che turned Trump's war on the media into a running gag. He compared FBI raids to bad game shows, and border walls to subscription services that charge monthly but never deliver. Trump's immigration policy was less about protection and more about presentation. Every speech about law and order felt like a trailer for a movie he never made. And when SNL aired it, Trump treated it like treason. By now, his aides must have been holding weekly meetings titled How to Handle Jokes. Every new episode of SNL was a mini crisis. Every cold open felt like a foreign threat. It was absurd, yet perfectly fitting the man who turned politics into theater was furious that the audience had started laughing.
President Trump has signed an executive order giving refugee status to white people from South Africa. You know, I could have sworn that white people had it good in South Africa. Must be the Mandela effect. The Trump administration announced that after face-to-face talks with China, it is lowering tariffs from 145% to 30%, which is a little like OJ bragging about taking the knife out.
Then came the stock market collapse joke, SNL's knockout punch. Jost described it like a magic trick gone wrong. Now you see your savings, now you don't. Investors were fleeing faster than Trump from accountability, and the show turned it into a masterclass in comedic timing. Trump responded by ranting about fake news, proving once again that denial was his favorite punchline. Che wrapped the satire around Trump's science denial. Every briefing looked like a classroom where the student insists gravity is a hoax. Experts pleaded for logic, Trump countered with enthusiasm. Every subpoena became foreplay, every indictment an anniversary gift. Trump saw persecution, SNL saw content. When the show mocked his ban on men's and women's sports, they twisted it into sharp social commentary, ending with the jab that even his logic was gender fluid. That reportedly sent Trump into a spiral. He threatened to cancel SNL, as if cancellation were something he could sign into existence with a pen.
President Trump traveled to the Middle East this week, and if I were him, I would have just stayed there because it looked awesome. Trump arrived in Saudi Arabia, where he was greeted with a lavender carpet which matched the color of his tie and also the length. They also rolled out a mobile McDonald's truck for President Trump's visit, featuring Saudi Arabia's most popular new burger, the McJournalist. Ethical experts are also warning that Trump may owe political favors to countries who give him lavish.
But you can't cancel satire. It multiplies. Every tantrum just becomes the next joke. By the end, SNL had accomplished what no political opponent ever could. They made Trump look ordinary. They stripped away the illusion of control and revealed him for what he truly was, a performer desperate for applause in a room that was already laughing. And that's the real reason behind his outrage. Trump doesn't fear criticism, he fears irrelevance. Every roast, every sketch, every smirk from Colin and Che reminded him that the stage no longer belongs to him. He was once the main act, now he's the punchline. And no executive order can change that. The brilliance of SNL's satire is that it doesn't just mock power, it exposes it. They showed that the emperor has no clothes, just a very long tie. They turned governance into absurdity and made millions laugh at what used to terrify them. So when Trump threatens to cancel the show, it's not just ego, it's desperation. He's trying to rewrite the narrative, to remind the world that he's still the center of attention.
While on his trip, said that Iran has sort of agreed to terms for a nuclear deal in the same way Trump has sort of agreed to uphold the Constitution. Many people in Saudi Arabia were very happy with President Trump's visit to the country because rich Saudis love to fly out thick blonde.
The Democratic National Committee protested President Trump's plans to accept a $400 million luxury jet from Qatar by flying a banner over Mar-a-Lago reading Qatar-a-Lago.
But the irony is that by reacting, he's giving them exactly what they want, another episode's worth of material. In the end, Trump didn't destroy SNL, he rejuvenated it. His presidency became their golden era. His scandals, their punchlines. His ego, their muse. He's not fighting comedians, he's feeding them. And maybe that's the real tragedy for him. You can shut down a government, you can fire cabinet members, you can even ban reporters. And here's the final twist. The man who built his career on attention finally met his match in a couple of comedians who turned his chaos into laughter. He wanted to cancel them, but in doing so, he only confirmed what they've been saying all along. The show isn't mocking him, it's about him.